you.
In the USA?
Yes, especially the police. I'll never forget when I was riding in the car with my cousins. Because, of course, US, you drive on the right-hand side. So
Yes.
I couldn't go there. So I was driving with my cousins, and whenever the police would stop us, the boys would start panicking.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, guys, chill out. I was like, no, it's the po, it's 5-0. Like, what's wrong? We don't know if we'll make it home. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
And then the guys would come, and I'm like, wow, police. American police.
Yeah.
And then when they would talk to my cousins, of course, they live there. They're like, get out, put your hands, blah, blah, all that.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Maya and this is the Repat Podcast. And as usual, I have with me
DJ Maintain.
Yes.
You do. Okay. DJ Maintain, DJ and producer, living in Kampala for 5 years now.
Okay, and on my right?
Dr. Juliet Nsima, just enjoying the mood and the crowd. And the crowd.
Vibes.
Yes, vibes.
Okay, and O'Shea?
Former Dr. O'Shea D. Jackson. Sacramento,
nice
California.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we have a lot of experience. 3 of us at least have lived abroad, especially you lived in so many different places. So we want to know, is Africa or Africans, is there a better opportunity out in the West, our black diaspora, as you would call some of Ugandans, the Basamas, right? Why are Africans leaving? They're leaving here, going to someplace else. Is it a better opportunity there than here?
Well, on TV it looks better. Yeah, I mean, let's be a bit real here. Growing up, I grew up on R&B and rap music. Okay.
Me too.
I didn't hear much. Really, I couldn't relate so much to the African music. Okay, until later in life.
Okay.
But growing up, it was always, Congolese music and the same song over and over again. All right. Meanwhile, Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie are churning out albums.
Yes.
And then, of course, when I first heard Tupac, my mind was blown.
Okay.
My emotions were all over the place. And he was also good looking. So
That helps, huh?
that helps, okay? Yeah. So, yeah, it's only when I grew up, but when you were young, the bright lights, the bright clothes, the bright dancing, everything was bright, okay? Then as I grew older, I said, understanding Kasaf and, South African music came out, Brenda Fassie. That's when I
Brenda Fassie was
that's when
my manager put me on a Brenda Fassie. She was amazing.
Fassie. And before that was also Yvonne Chaka Chaka. Yvonne Chaka Chaka, I think, started me off. But when I heard Brenda Fassie, I was like, yes, today I'm Volindela. I'm not talking anything,
Yeah.
So that it came out, but it came like a second choice. Always in the back of my mind, I was like, I have to go and see where Michael Jackson came from.
Okay.
I have to go and see where Diana Ross, Motown. I need to go and see Motown.
Okay.
Yeah, but they don't tell you, of course, Detroit is a tough city.
Whoa.
All the time you see Motown, when you see Motown, you think, when you see Detroit, you think Motown.
Yes.
You don't think of winter and all that.
Yes.
So in the back of your mind, you're like, I wonder how it really is. Or like
Right.
Christmas, they're telling you Santa came, it's sleigh, snow is coming out. Mommy, Daddy, why aren't we having snow? That kind of thing. So you always want to see the other side. Is the grass greener? And the problem is many of us don't have the opportunity to do it in the right way.
Right.
Okay. We usually do it when we're old, we're desperate for jobs. Kampala is stressing you, or Nairobi, and then you say, let me just try my luck out there. Casta, I saw this and this, let me go and follow the yellow brick road. Maybe I'll get my pot of gold. And then when you reach there,
Stop.
Why do you say when you reach there? Because you tell us where you've lived. That way we can get a fundamental understanding. You've lived in China, obviously. We know that.
Yes, I've lived in China mostly.
Okay.
But I actually started off in the States.
Okay.
I was very shocked by the disparities I saw there.
Okay.
Then I worked a bit in the UK.
Okay.
And also, there were some disparities, but not as bad as the States.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Because there, once you reach there, it's like your skin color is a problem.
What's rich where? The
The
US or the UK?
The US especially.
Okay.
UK, it creeps up on you eventually.
Yeah. They're very subtle.
It's like they
And
marinate
you
it.
mentioned
It's
that
like
before.
a slow roast, you know.
Yeah.
But the UK, bam, you're black. You know, there's a way they treat you.
In the USA.
Yes, especially the police. I'll never forget when I was riding in the car with my cousins. Because of course, you know, US you drive on the right hand side. So
Yes.
I couldn't go there. So I was driving with my cousins, and whenever the police would stop us, the boys would start panicking.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, guys, chill out. I was like, no, it's the po, it's 5-0.
Uh-huh.
What's wrong? We don't know if we'll make it home. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the guys would come, and I'm like, wow, police. American police.
Yeah.
And then when they would talk to my cousins, of course they live there, they're like, get out, put your hands, all that. When they would turn to me like, get out, we want to search you. And I'm like, officer, you know, for me, I'm here for a tour and what? And they'll look at me. Say that again. I'm like, I'm here for a tour to see my cousins, what? And they're like, you're not black, you're African. I'm like, what's the difference in my head? But for them,
I've
they
heard
have
that a lot.
registered. If we touch this African, it might come back to ban us. But if you're black, we can sort you out.
Yeah. Okay.
So after like several stops, my cousin were like, I have to teach us Ugandan English so that when we have when we have officers stop us, we shall also be touring.
Yeah.
That was one thing. Then two, you could see the housing. The housing was so definite. Blacks were on the
on their own
poorer
side.
side.
Yeah.
The other side of the railway tracks, they see the poorer side of Houston.
Typically.
Then the big, sparsely,
Yeah.
vast homes with oil, whatever,
Money,
oil
yeah.
fields and what, were all white.
Yeah.
And even the ranchers who had cows like me, but we had to kind of not even fly, but we had to drive miles and miles to see the ranches.
Yeah.
Okay, because one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Houston was they also, you know, they also have cows like us.
Right.
Then I started seeing the disparity there. So I'm like, this is not good. And then my because also my sister was there. I said, let me go. And she said, let's go to Washington. Same thing with Washington. Is again the police, the poverty for the blacks and the Hispanics. You know, so it was bad. I didn't like it.
Okay.
I was young, but I like, this is not right.
Okay.
I didn't even think it's not fair. I think it's just not right. You enter. You know, every time you turn a corner, the cops are blaring their horns and their sirens. That's not a way to live. It's like you're in prison. Much as you're walking, you're in a virtual prison. So that's why I left there.
Okay.
Said I'll go to visit, but not to settle.
Okay.
Some people enjoyed it, and I'm like, good for you.
Okay.
But for me, I think the creativity.
Right.
You know, because I'm a creative person. It was just dying slowly.
So for you, it's you'd rather be here. The
I'd rather
opportunity's here.
I'd rather be here, go visit.
Go visit. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get to maintain, because he's different than you or Jonita, who grew up from here, but he grew up over there.
Yeah.
I did.
So what do you? I mean, like living in Kampala for 5 years.
Yeah.
What would you say?
About what? About a Ugandan relocating to London, UK or something?
What was so hard? You're British.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of, did you ever come into contact with Africans that were coming from the,
Yeah.
What was their experience, and what do you think?
In my experience, after the novelty has worn off, there's a definite longing for home. Simple things like certain dishes, they are not here.
Yeah.
They're very, very well educated people, and they're doing just menial jobs just to get through their studies or get enough money to send home.
Right.
And they one thing that's a common theme is the loss of life. And what I mean is not like death, but the loss of your social life, the loss of, you know, like the way of life here, as compared to London, where it's just go, rat race, get on the subway, squeezed, get things like that, go out for lunch, you're waiting. You know, it's for a lot of Africans that relocate, it's a shock to their system, and that's what I've got from speaking to my African friends.
What about you, Joan?
So obviously, like Dr. Juliet said, we have been they show us that the American dream is like the ultimate achievement in life. Like, this is what you should strive for, you know.
Yeah.
grow up, get done with school, and then make some money here and there, and then go abroad because apparently the opportunities are bigger there. But one thing, the Ugandans in the States make the States look so good, by the way. I don't know if they make the States look so good. They're making videos every second. The moment there's snow, it's like, oh, snow, then snow on my car. You know, they're not showing you like the hard parts of the American dream. They're just showing you the good things, the enjoyment. Yeah. Because half the time they're saying, oh, I'm a cleaner, but I make more than a doctor in Uganda. Or I'm a garbage man, but I make more than a CEO in Uganda. You know, such things. So to me, as someone who hasn't traveled to the States or something like that, I see the States as it having more opportunity and me making more money there, no matter the position that I end up getting there compared to Uganda.
Let me say this and get canceled. Because I want to be a little bit more frank. My life may be on the line, but I'm just going to say in Africa in general, because I've had a chance to go to some countries I didn't go to last year, Nigeria being one of them, and Rwanda being another one. In our last podcast, you mentioned the Igbo people who do very well in the United States. They do very well in the UK. But let's talk about something that we try to sweep under the rug, why they are leaving in the first place. Africa as a continent, not all of it, but sub-Saharan Africa, talent is unappreciated here. You're smart. You can do something. Excuse my language. Nobody gives a I'm sorry, I had to curse, Doc, but they don't. People don't care. People don't care about the people who are competent a lot of times in Africa. And the one thing about America, it's messed up. But if you're good, you're going somewhere. That's for a fact. If you're smart and British, what happened now once the UK left the EU? What was the first thing that Britain said to those in the Nigerian embassy? We welcome all our Nigerian students to come. And now what do you see? The Blackanization of the UK. So easy now for Zimbabweans to go to the UK. Because why? They can't depend on European talent, right? But the whites know if you're smart. It might be hard, but if you're smart, Dr. Jules, no, yeah, we're going to give away whatever you want. Now, that's a problem because here, and I see it here, even with myself in the continent, trying to pay for things and you want to give them the money. People are like, oh, yeah, I'll send you the contract in like 7 days. You know, oh, yeah, I will call you back. This is the attitude towards it. And if I know it's me that's going through it as an American, what about the Africans? See, people here don't care about if you can do things for your community as much as they should. So what are those people supposed to do? Stay here and wait for somebody to dangle the thing on them? Or are they going to go fight it out for opportunity where, hey, it doesn't matter if I'm this tribe or not. If I'm good, I'm going to make it. And you see Africans doing it every day in the West. They're making it in the United States. The most talented groups. The best performing group in America is who? Yeah. Nigerians. Yep. Nigerians. And you know what they say? I'm never going back to where? Nigeria. Never. Canada, this is a true story. You go to, Waltham, Massachusetts, a big hangout for Ugandans. Boston. We get emails sometimes. They ask me, hey, how do you guys do so good in Uganda? Like, I haven't been there in 25 years. I'm living in LA. But how are they living in LA? Most Ugandans that live in LA are smart. Because you can't be there if you're not smart. So they come to UC Berkeley and they know, like, if I come back to Kampala or I come back to Nairobi, hey, I have a PhD in economics, but I'm not going to be able to make it there. So we're saying come back, but look at how much you'd like to be here in Uganda, Africa in general. This is no shot at anybody. But you have to be the educator. You have to have your own finance. You have to be the president of the company. You have to find the talent. You have to wear all those hats. And everybody can't wear all those hats, right? Now, people are sending money back in remittances. That's true. But it's going to the individual people, their families. What communities are being developed? What about Goere? Is it just, is anything happening with that money? Or Chisasi or Nigeria? There's nothing that brings the diaspora in to develop. So the question is, yes, it's a better opportunity, but for who? The rich people who can do business can come back and do something here. That's the problem. And we don't want to talk about that. But the issue is until you elect and I think many African governments are afraid of diasporans, the talented. I'm not talking about people like me and him. Let me just say this. I know I'm going on a rant. People like me and him, we don't have any. Georgia Yedid said it best. Caribbeans and African Americans, Africa's not worried about us. Because when we come here, we've never lived here. We don't know about any parts of corruption. We just know you're being nice to us. We enjoy it because we didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
It's the truth. We have a different experience from Africa than Jonita or you does. Because we're coming in like, oh man, this is great. I mean, like, you know, people are suffering in certain parts of West Africa, but we're not suffering. We're getting treated good. But now, what about those others? That's the issue. Those others. There's nothing for talented people such as yourself, unless you want to fight it out or you have a rich family. What are you going to do here? And that's an issue. The diaspora cannot be effective. Those who have left typically don't like ruling parties. That's what I found out all over Africa. They don't. And they don't like them. That's why you see a lot of African governments marketing to who? The year of return is for who? Is it for Ghanaians? No. It's for us. Why? Because we don't have a bad experience with Ghana. That's why.
You get there and then get the
yes.
experience.
Yeah. You get there, we see Chance the Rapper, we see all this stuff. We got our daishikis on and everything. We're not even going to hang around with local Ghanaians, right? That's what they want. People that are educated, that come from these places, they're afraid of them because they might start a revolution. Think about Kagame. I'm going to be quiet, but Kagame, and this is what I'm saying. The RPF were here in Uganda, right? But Kagame didn't grow up in Rwanda. He grew up here.
Yeah.
But it was him, a part of the Rwandan diaspora, that took over Rwanda. It's history. It's controversial. But Kagame didn't even grow up there. He grew up as a Ugandan pretty much. I think that African leaders are afraid of those kind of people that can come and do things like that. We see it in Sierra Leone. So how do you solve those issues? I know it's a lot, but
that's a big bone to chew.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Because like most successful, and you're right, it's an African problem. Everywhere you go, you hear that complaint. Because there's so many talented Africans here. Like when I was in the States, I met a neurosurgeon.
Yes.
He ain't coming back, that's for sure. And I met someone who is doing not aeronautical engineering, the engineering where you go to space. Astro engineering, something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what this is, but he's smarter than me.
Yeah, he works with NASA.
That's for
has
sure.
security around him. He's coming back either when he's old or he's not needed anymore.
Yeah.
He signed like a 60-year contract with NASA.
What? He signed what?
Yeah.
Why am I so dumb?
Because the dollars are...
How long a contract?
60.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah,
That guy could die and still be getting paid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so of course he just comes home, builds something. Because you think, like when you go out there, if you don't come back as an investor, it's like you've wasted your chances.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And not everyone has that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not everyone can be as smart as the NASA guy.
No, he's brilliant.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but the people when they are living, I mean, even in China, the rich Africans in Guangzhou, man, you go to their homes, you're like, this one is not coming back. Okay, he has a seaside view. He has a yacht or two. Okay,
Where is in Guangzhou?
Guangzhou, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the richest are Nigerian brothers and sisters.
We might do this podcast.
All right. So you can't now we're going to
Guangzhou.
put your yacht in Lake Victoria or Lake Choga. I don't know.
Right.
Okay. So one of the best things I saw there is they identify talent early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're super talented, by the age of 8, you're already in special schools. You're still doing your ABCs.
Yes.
But you're not wasting time where you're not needed.
Right.
All right. And then even when you see the ones who are self-taught, be it Sliced Alone, MJ, their parents also helped out. Sometimes your parents should also be identifying you and helping you get where you are. All right. But now if your parent is maybe he's not rich, he's from the village, has had a hard life, it's not possible. You have to drive yourself. All right. But it's true, we need talent scouts in Africa like 50 years ago, not only in Uganda, in Africa.
Right.
Uganda has that problem. Kenya. Another thing is you can't have talent scouts with our corruption levels. We need to do something about the corruption.
I didn't say that. You said that.
No.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, talent needs constant input.
Yes.
Not only time, but resources and money. And then later, I mean, I bumped into some Chinese kid called Ling Ling, 18 years old, piano prodigy. He's played in all the orchestras, the big orchestras all over the world. All right, but the kid is awkward. Okay. He's not social. He's not what. He's not fitting in. He's awkward. All right. But when his fingers touch those keys, magic begins. So sometimes when we see our children as awkward or not normal, we say, "Oh, the kid has been bewitched." Pray for him. Go to the witch doctors to remove the demons. That thing. Every child has his or her, and I see children not as property, but as gifts from God.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Your kid will be weird, but one day he or she will find his or her way. Okay. Of course, there are some kids, maybe they have some mental challenges.
Right.
But even autistic kids are very talented.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whether mathematician. So it's another thing. We need to accept that once they leave the diapers, they are their own creatures.
Right.
In fact, some I think it was, who was it who said it? She said once, the last time I knew my child was when I gave birth. When they start crying, they are their own beings. Okay, so you need to observe and then see what they need. But also we need talent scouts. We need, like now, I mean, Uganda, if it had cultural tourism, if it had a ministry of cultural tourism, gorillas would be second. Our cultures are so rich. Right. Where there's a time I presented Bak Simba to my professors in China. And I traveled to 4 cities just talking about Ngalawi, those things. Those simple drums. These things we just even look, we throw them around. Don't care. They were like, wow. Yeah. The time we were doing, I was lucky to do tourism in Guangzhou for Uganda. And Japanese came asking us, here you have wonderful spiders. This spider. All of us are looking at each other. Really? Me, I didn't know. And I know we are nodding. Yeah. Like, come on, guys were like, we want to visit. What you call us, And they gave us their cards. Right. All right. So these are things. But if we don't have talent scouts and cultural tourism, how do we know these things?
Let me say this because
how to make katogo. You find someone comes here, I want to learn how to make katogo. Amuzungu. Okay, sorry, matoke.
Matoke.
Yes.
Let me just, before you maintain, I remember I met you here in Bugalobi. Yes. Yeah, you recognized me.
Yes.
And one of the things you told me was, thank you for having a love for Uganda. And that's how we
started chatting.
Yeah. Started now you're the best podcaster in the world now. But we need to, I was talking to maintain, because when I want to complain, the girls, they tune me out now. Yeah. This one can hear me complain all day and just keep doing what she's doing, and she's not listening to my struggles. You know what I mean? So I don't even waste my time complaining to her or Rachel about Uganda anymore. But see, maintain, if he's dumb enough to answer the phone that day, our chef who's over there, I'm gonna have complaints, right? And the thing is, like, let's talk about the opportunities with Africa. Obviously, with the African Free Trade Agreement, we've had so many countries ratify the document. But here's what my fear is that Africans, and I think it's a little bit different, the mentality maybe of West Africans and East Africans. I don't want to go there, but it seems like Nigerians and Ghanaians are a little bit more pro-ownership than what maybe you see in East Africa. I'm not sure, but when I see the African Free Trade Agreement and how it's supposed to benefit women, local African businessmen, trade, I see Africans not even being able to take part of it. Number one, because it's hard to do things here. Just even to get this podcast equipment here, it's difficult. It's difficult to, like, we had one shoot where we have to carry like a $3,000 generator with us. It's hard to do things here. And I know, but if you can get things done here, it's amazing. but 19 or 20 times, right? And I think and we need so much help. Like we're talking about us as a diasporan community, and for those who live abroad, because those people who grew up from here and left for 10 years, when they come back, they may not be looked at as the same. They might be looked at as us. What are some of the things that, and I want maybe maintain and we come back to you. What are some of the things that we can do to help make some transparency for the people that want to come back? How do we use the little resources that we have to, try to get that talent to come back and help us, because we need it, and then try to build that community that brings our best people to want to come back to Uganda? What do we do? Wait, before I answer that, is the opportunity greater here?
It can be.
Yeah. In comparison to London, do you think you have a better opportunity here than London?
For what I do, yeah.
I would say 3,000%. I'm going to cut off.
Yeah.
The opportunity is Africa for me, hands down. It is completely better.
It's definitely better.
For Africans, and it's the best. Yeah. There's nothing here that you can't, if you get, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you're in the right circles, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think there's got to be some form of dialogue. I don't know between who, but some sort of structure, something that, because when I moved here, I had a good solid base. I had a job, I had a place to live.
Yeah.
So I had a means of income and somewhere to live. So I didn't have to worry about that. I could then just focus on DJing and producing. So I don't know if governments can talk in the diaspora and just set things up. Listen, maybe, I don't know, I was talking to my friend about maybe can offer someone like me, who my roots are clearly African.
Yes.
And get a 2-year tax relief or something like that when you come here, a job, and build yourself up. But then after that, you start paying tax and you become, you get your national ID or whatever. But something like that to start the ball rolling. And then we, things don't have to stay static. Things can change as it goes along to improve it. But the ball just has to start. Yeah. And that's my opinion on it.
You know what?
Yes.
I'd like to disagree on that tax relief.
Okay. Why?
I would like to disagree because, first of all, you guys are coming from a country that has a high currency. So already you coming to Uganda, you have more than the Ugandan who stays here.
Right.
So them giving you a tax relief, I don't know, it's kind of...
But the thing is,
I think there's so many other incentives. But taxes... That's just my opinion.
Right, but the thing is, there are other incentives, but it's not happening.
Yeah, that's
so it. So it's a point of discussion, right?
Yeah.
It's what can you do to tempt people?
Yes.
Because that's the thing, because you get caught up in the London way of life. It happened to me. I thought I had a life. Right. And I moved here and I was like,
yeah. No,
I really didn't.
No, it's
right? I worked 8 to 5 as a surveyor in construction. And then on the weekend, I was DJing the whole time. And I thought, But really, what was I doing? I was just sleeping and waking.
Yeah. Speaking of governments, you're talking, we'll bleep it out if we don't need to say it.
Yeah.
Someone reached out to O'Shea.
They did.
You remember the guy at Kabira who wanted you to
form, yeah.
So that O'Shea could be the mediator between people from the diaspora
it was true.
and the Ugandan government. Well, he turned out to be something else. But
I'm gonna tell you what I let me just say this. Again, that's kind of when I figured out and shout out to that particular person. That they want to reach out to the diaspora. I think because what African governments are seeing is what Ghana is doing. And now Sierra Leone is doing, which is free citizenship if you can get genetics and stuff like that. But I honestly think number one, let me just leave those people alone. Rich Africans are also holding Africa back too. I'm just gonna say that. Let me just say this. A lot of times when you see what's going on here, in Africa, you have more millionaires coming up in Africa every year. It doesn't go down. The population goes up, but obviously millionaires are going to go up. But you just don't see people looking at, well, let's develop our talent to support. When we look at America or UK, there's a keen interest in we need to develop our science. We need to develop things. You know, we need to even take immigrants in to develop like Google, those kind of things that keep us on a national level. When I see, not all rich Africans, but I see some, I don't see people like, because it's very easy to get somebody that's very talented to leave their company and come work for you. That's easy. And it shouldn't be that easy. It's hard to do that in America. But we got, as blacks, and even some of the diasporans, I'm going to call them out. You come to Africa, you're paying somebody $100 a month, and your excuse is, well, the government is allowing you to do that. But, I mean, we have to have these people to carry on the mission because that's the attitude they're going to have towards other people. And the diaspora, they'll start running projects and stuff, and then the people that's working there are it's almost like slavery. And these are the people that are going to leave. It's like, oh, you should be glad you have that job. It's like, what? Like, I'm working 7 days a week. What are you talking about? You should be glad that you have a job that I work. That's the attitude towards talent here. Yeah. And it's coming from the Africans that have lived abroad and they suffered and they came back here. I see it all the time. It's like, wait a minute, you lived where? London for 20 years? So you left for that and you're treating these people like this? How is this place going to develop? You know? But I just want to also say, in general, without incentives, Africa is without incentives for its talented people. There's no way so they say that. We can say, come back to Africa, leave America, come back to Africa, and then do what? And get nothing? Because you have to play so many hats.
Even some of our exports, what was so weird, I drank the best Ugandan coffee at Starbucks.
What?
Yeah, in China. The best Ugandan coffee, grade A coffee. You can't find it here. Here, I think we're on D or C. But then, because people, you always use, I think if you're going abroad, you always say, oh, Ugandan coffee, Kenyan coffee is good. Now Rwanda is also with us.
Yes. And
then you're like, why is this thing so major? Until I went to Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if I knew this coffee was
that
good, I too would be promoting Ugandan coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You understand? But if I'm getting grade D coffee, so this habit of, let's first export the best and give ourselves the worst is the worst idea.
Right.
Because we're not sustaining ourselves. We're actually milking a cow without feeding it.
Yes.
We need to sustain. If Ugandans know how good their coffee is, trust me, like Ethiopians, man, those guys, when you come to their home, the first thing they give you coffee, whether you like it or not.
That's true.
And the way they do it, they really have, like dramatics, they're pouring the coffee.
The
from
the tiny like
and they're also roasting the beans. This time you leave the place, you're smelling of beans, roasted coffee. It's really a good experience.
Right.
So that's also cultural tourism, the experience of having Ugandan coffee or the experience of eating luombo, making luombo.
Mm-hmm.
That would be something huge. Now in New York, injera is everywhere. That's Ethiopian food.
Yeah, Ethiopian
injera is everywhere.
Like bread.
Yeah, but the way they make it so fly, you're like, man, I'm coming back tomorrow for more injera. Because they do the dramatics, just like a Japanese restaurant. As they are slicing and dicing your fish, they are flying these knives. You're like, okay, I'm waiting for one to hammer him. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you find many white Christian missionaries, when they come here, they go to the village and they're enjoying themselves more than the city.
Oh yeah.
So why don't we also export? First of all, know what we have, and like you see Kenyan tourism, why it's so big. As soon as you are a tourist, first thing they take you to Nairobi, the national park, just a 30 minutes drive from the city. And you see giraffes instantly.
Yeah.
Right?
I got headbutted by one of those giraffes before. That was a true story. It's on camera too. Somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's painful.
Yeah, you're here to tell the story.
I mean, I couldn't hit it, so what was I supposed to
do? Yeah. So also how we market ourselves. We need that pizzazz. Okay. We need that showmanship.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you see in Europe and America, it's not heaven, but the way they market it, the imagery. You'll not find a poor American, in winter crying that I have no electricity on BBC. But when you see the African videos on BBC, I was bewitched. They were, all these nasty things. Men suckling their wives' breasts because of the child. No, you're like, why do you bring those things on? there's more to Africa or Uganda than that. Or Uganda, the best place for drunkards in Africa. Those things don't help us. They don't help us at all. And something like the government, or even not even the government, it's Ugandans, we should just start saying, no, this is enough. Because at least now, every time you like European media, when they bash Nigerians, the whole of Twitter goes on fire.
And
the whole of Instagram, they hammer those people.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, why are you disturbing us? Is it because you're suffering from winter? That's why your skin is pale. They go nasty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nigerians.
And trust me, someone will not do it again.
Yeah.
All right. So that's something we also need. So it's because we are really, as I said, we have so much here. And I think, as I said before, if we followed the money trail, you'd see why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
Ngugi wa Thiong'o said, when the missionaries came, they had the Bibles, we had the land. By the time they left, we had the Bibles.
Yeah.
What were you say?
Yeah, no, speaking of domestic tourism, do you know, someone pointed out something that the whites enjoy this country more than the Ugandans themselves. When you look at like Nyege Nyege, do you know how many... Well, I did go. Do you know how many?
It's all right. You can say it. You could admit
there
you
were
went.
so many white people enjoying themselves, and then Ugandans couldn't go because a member of parliament said it's I don't know what was it?
It was cancelled or something like that.
Something like that. Like we are our own problem because why are you against something that's going to promote tourism and help people? You're against it itself.
Jonita.
Why I didn't like Nyege Nyege, it has that.
But it wasn't there.
Like Africans are wild and free.
But it wasn't there, honestly.
Okay, but it's not there.
It's not. People were having fun.
But that's what the feeds are saying.
And there were so many stages promoting African music.
Heard about a lot of sex and stuff.
No, but where did you get that from?
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised you had that from Africans.
Drink all the booze you want.
Wouldn't be saying that.
But how did it make you feel watching the enjoyment non-Ugandans were having at this festival in your country?
I mean, I just observed it. I mean, there were
I know you observed it, but how did it make you feel?
Was you mad?
I didn't mind it because the whites were on the on stage and then
dancing off beat.
Yeah, the and then the Africans were on the African, like native sounds and native DJ type of stage. So I enjoyed myself, but I observed that there were more whites than Africans because Africans didn't want to attend the event because of what they had had. Other Africans bashing. Talking badly about the event.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this also. I think one of the reasons why I think Africans do very well, like in the United States, they see like opportunities that maybe as Black Americans that we don't. We take things for granted. This is why like Nigerians do very well in the United States, Igbos. If you go to Nigeria, you see a lot of Lebanese doing very well in Nigeria. Oh. And like even for me, it's easy to see. Like I don't understand Luganda very much. I don't understand that, but I can still see like what's in the cracks. I can see that person as talent. Cause I came here with nothing, and we have, shout out to the Pan African Show. We have one of the best production teams in the country, but it was easy to just see that person is underemployed. That person's too talented to be like. It's easy to just point that out, and when you talk to people, they can't see that. Like one day we were at the. What's this pizza place? Olives. I was telling Rachel. I said, that young lady there paid attention to detail. She's too smart to be doing this. And it was just right away. It's like that person, if she worked for me or worked with me, that woman would be like, she'd probably be getting 200,000 shillings a month. But it's easy for me to see that with these people. Like that person is talented. You're screaming it all over the place. Like even Kwesi, shout out to Kwesi. I saw one Instagram reel of him when he's 17. I said, that guy's one of the best people in the world. That guy is good even in the United States. But you see the talent there all the time. And I know Africans have to see it. But even Nyege, these festivals, any festivals, a lot of things you see that's coming here, I don't know if that festival wasn't even started by Uganda. It was started by somebody from Belgium, right? I think he sold it. Yeah.
Has he sold it?
I think he sold it. He started it.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
So that's my issue is one thing that Africa gives you the opportunity is ownership, because you have to be owner here. That's the one great thing. But now, can Africans see themselves developing, the service that people need, the great things that people need, serving the community like you see some of the West Africans do. I know you do have some here. But if you look at the Nigerian people and the West Africans, they're about owning everything, you know? And sometimes you see Ugandans, they're like really intimidated about Nigerians. Like, oh, and I'm thinking about you can do the same thing. Like, why are you, we were in Nigeria, shout out to Nigeria, but Uganda, Umeme is way better than what's going on with their system. Yet you see Nigerians, like Ugandans, very intimidated by Nigerians. And I don't understand that when Ugandans can compete with anybody in Africa. I just,
Facts.
In my honest opinion, you just don't see there's an overall difference in mentality. I think here with, you know, wanting to like, I want to develop this. This is mine. This belongs to us versus what you see in West Africa. That's just I hope I don't get canceled for that. But I think that's what I see. And as a foreigner, you can see it clear. But people here, it's hard for them to see it. In my honest opinion. I don't know if I'm wrong or not. Don't shoot me, anybody in Uganda.
No.
I think it's a power thing. I think those that are in power and have it, the resource, the money, the land, they still want to give it up. The way of life they have suits them. And why am I going to spend my money?
Yeah.
And then to bring somebody else up, and then I may not have it once it reaches its full potential. So they just
and that's so big in the private. It's in the private sector because all we deal with is the private sector.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But what we don't understand is the more development you have in the private sector, the more money everybody gets.
Exactly.
That's the thing, you know? That in Uganda is a open mixed economy. It is very free. But in the free market, you just don't see that. You don't see like, okay, the entrepreneur class here, and now we moved on. Is Africa a better opportunity? The answer is yes. But now you have to be a certain kind of person to be there. And then the people that could be here don't want to come back and regulate things. And obviously we have a knowledge gap for those who have learned new skills, don't want to take the risk to bring in new markets here. So we don't have jobs here. And that's happened all over Africa. So it's like, well, people are leaving and going there. Like, for example, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave it alone. You talked about a situation where you DJ, you can't get paid.
Yeah.
That happens so often here. Like, I'm supposed to get paid. Here's the amount. Oh, I didn't tell you that. What do you mean? You have a lot of lying in the private sector here. And I mean, I'm just saying in general, all over Africa. Lying, cheating. At least in America, I'm going to give you $2,000. That day, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
As racist as America is, you can get your money. Here, they turn the phone off. I got to call, oh, Banange, you know, this is my friend happened. You see. How can somebody do business like that, got kids?
Well, one of the problems I see here is actually two, I would say. One, our structures. Whether it is society, government, I don't know, our structures. They are there. They're in fine print. They look wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent
in practice,
point.
they are non-existent.
Exactly.
Or they are crawling. They are limping.
Yes.
Yeah. Then two, checks and balances. Because one of the saddest things you see is whenever Ugandan is thriving,
yes,
people are ready to chew the person out.
They want to find out where they got
Kula them. We call it kula, remove all their teeth.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I don't understand what she's saying.
It's like like when you're doing well, people will hate on you.
Oh.
And they'll hate on your wallet as well.
I'm broke, by the way. So
there's that thing of like, I don't show you're too rich. If you're too rich, people come for you. Like I loved when Chameleon was coming up, you were like, no million, no chameleon. When you go to shows, you first give him his suitcase there of money. His boys take it, then he jumps on stage.
Oh,
that's checks and balances because he had
no million, no chameleon. I like that.
That's very
many
catchy.
people had used him and not paid him. So he now learned the trick. You're like, before I jump on stage,
maintain.
My money.
You need to start.
Yeah.
And it's
no paying, no maintaining.
Yeah.
No what?
No paying, no maintaining.
Paying, no maintaining.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that. I mean, when these promoters come, who checks on them? Who polices them?
Sure.
Or like our police, who polices our police?
Oh.
Checks and balances.
Right.
So we need that. And again, if our structures are not functional,
right,
there's nothing much you can do because you reach a certain level and either you need the help of government or government wants to intervene.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, that's it. We are done,
Yeah.
Right.
And they are going to chew our money. Let's go.
Right.
And yet there are really, you know, people in government who are trying to help. Then you find their bosses also are not there for them.
Right.
Okay. You say, let's have a meeting. You go and visit. You go and greet the court and go away.
Right.
You know, so these are the problems we have. Okay. And then in the private sector, if someone doesn't pay, who do you run to?
Exactly.
If you go to police, they also say you first pay us.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me just say this.
And I'm not saying all police, but there are bad elements in any institution. Who manages those?
Let me just say this about government. This is a good comment, so this is not bad. So nobody thinks I could be.
I have friends in government.
A lot of people, I believe, and we're going to wrap it up. A lot of people in government, I honestly believe, love this country and then in other countries. But because the system is it is what it is before you get there. It's kind of like when you're on fire, like you talked about being lukewarm, you know, you're on fire for God, right? It's kind of like how Malcolm X was on fire for Nation of Islam. Then he saw the corruption, and now your spirit gets dampened. And what happens, I think, in African countries, they want to make a change, they want to do the right thing, and then it comes to a point where, oh man, like I'm not being heard, you know, and then your attitude changes towards things. Let me just get what I can get, and get out. Yeah. And then for us as a diaspora here. You know, because I had a conversation with a friend today, and she was complaining that so many people that are Black Americans and British Caribbeans coming back from Ghana and people from Jamaica, they're hanging out in the same clique and they don't deal with local people. And they said that's like racism in a way. That's prejudice. I said I don't think that's what they're doing. They're doing it because for their own protection, because they're probably been not all people there, but they probably had problems with being scammed. The law, like I said, the law doesn't work. So now they've created this transparency of community as much as they can, and they will only rely on each other for that information because they don't trust things on the outside. And so it even changes you when you come to Africa, like, oh man, all these people are my brothers, man. I'm Black in Africa. And then you find out that the local person don't look at you the same. You just, hey, you'll come up though. You know, like I had one incident where I gave a guy to fix my computer. He gave me one price and then he tripled the price in like 3 hours. You know, like, and you had to pay because he had all my parts. So that person is not looking at me as a brother. So after you go through that like 10 times in a week, you start to say, all right, man, we need to build our own like systems. And this is not to say, okay, we don't want to do it. So you can be protected. Because like you said, if you lose or get scammed by a lawyer, you don't have any defense here. And that's the problem that I think a lot of us in the Ugandan diaspora, as hard as it is in the United States, once you get on, things work, you know, and things don't work like they do here unless you guys in power, it works. So, I mean, the opportunity is here, but with a lot of roadblocks, bumps. And there's a lot of people impeding the progress. Yeah. You know, there's people that don't want the progress to go along for everybody else. They're threatened even if it would help them. Yeah. It would help them. But they don't want people to grow. They think that money it's scarce. But they print money every day here, right? So it's not scarce. So that's just my own honest opinion.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can wrap this up.
I'll talk all day. You know me.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. But tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, find me on all my social mediums at DJ Maintain.
Yeah.
I'm at Twitter as DimpleSoyug.
And Doshe?
Not on Twitter because I'm not as smart as this young lady. But O'Shea Duke, and again, we're going to solve Africa's problems one day at a time if I don't get shot at.
Yeah. And
somebody in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, and if you want to see us talk about solving Africa's problems one day at a time, let us know in the comment section. We'll be back and, we'll be talking about this.
I have all the solutions, I think. But I'm not as smart as I think I am. That's true.
So if you want to see us back, please let us know in the comment section and subscribe to Kenganda. Also subscribe to the Pan-African Dating Show. We're helping people find love. We can help you find love too. Follow us on all our social media pages at Kenganda Nation. We'll see you guys next time.